We took a little break for the holiday, but we are back. This is another weekly edition of the Dump and Chase podcast presented by the Hoosier Network. I am Noah Bodoris with Jack Rizzo and the homecoming of Noah Seuss. Fellas, how are we?
We're doing great. There's snow on the ground here in Bloomington. I feel like I just want to go on a skate on an ODR right now, but there is no ODRs here. I just want to go for a nice little skate, and I'm ready to talk some hockey with you guys.
Absolutely. It's winter. Hockey season's in full swing. Doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah, so we're moving into the holiday season. Let's start out the show with some little lighthearted. Give me your holiday hot take, Seuss. You're up first.
Let me just tell you something. My hot take is the Christmas Day meal. Just think of the meal is so overrated. That meal.
What is your meal?
It's just like a ham, like a Christmas Day ham. I really don't like it. That's where I take Thanksgiving over Christmas, just the meal wise.
Jack, what is your hot take?
So I'm gonna go over to Christmas songs, and the Little Drummer Boy is not only the worst Christmas song that's ever been mass produced, it's the worst song period that's been mass produced. I cannot stand that song. I would literally listen to anything else other than that.
I have a similar one, and it's that Christmas music in general is overrated. I enjoy Christmas hymns, and I enjoy songs made by actual artists about Christmas, but when it comes to the commercialized U-Log old songs, I cannot stand it. I don't want to hear Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree ever.
So Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas is pretty good.
I'm more okay with it than I am with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
All right, I like that.
But if you play Oh Holy Night, I'll probably cry. You know, it's a balance.
I also don't like hearing Christmas music on November 1st. I have to wait till after Thanksgiving before I listen to Christmas music.
think I'm farther down the spectrum than you are in that regard. I take a long time to feel festive, and so I'm not gonna get really into it for another week or so.
Okay.
I'm just ready for it, honestly.
All right. Well, speaking of the best part of winter, the Olympic Winter Games are coming up in Italy. Jack and I talked about this for a decent amount last show, but I want to bring Seuss into this now that you're back. I want to talk about uniforms and the release of most of the Olympic team hockey jerseys. Seuss, I'll go to you first. Who has the best threads for this upcoming winter game?
In my opinion, the best jerseys obviously go to Team Canada. I don't know what it is about that maple leaf on the chest. It's just so clean. The red one, the black one, just perfect. And then I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Sweden's jerseys are awesome. So just great jerseys all around. I don't mind the U.S. jerseys, but they're just a little basic in my opinion. They look like Rangers jerseys, like we were saying before.
Yeah.
They're just Rangers jerseys with USA across instead of Rangers.
Yeah, the American one's boring to me. So is the Swedish one. It's lacking a lot of personality. The Canadian one's almost the opposite end for me. I feel like there's too much. Like the Canadian one's trying to be too meta. It's too different, especially the black one.
The France one is awful.
France one's terrible.
Do you remember Great Britain's jerseys in the World Baseball Classic?
I do.
That's what I think of when I look at the France jerseys.
My favorite is Finland. I appreciate the line with the sword on the chest. I appreciate. I don't quite know what they're doing with the stripes. Like it's kind of trying to be the Finland flag, but not quite.
Just great jerseys all around.
Jack, what do you think?
My favorite is Team Slovakia.
Yeah?
I really like this jersey looking at it. That badge on the front, that's what's on the flag of the country, so I think that's a pretty cool touch. I love the mountains in the background. Cool. I like the different colors. You got blue on the top, you got kind of red in the middle, and then you got the mountains with the white. I think it's a really clean-looking jersey, and especially for a country that we don't really think about as a hockey country, I think it's a really cool one.
The Czech ones are nice, too. The biggest disappointment is that Germany has a great uniform, but it's Germany hockey. You guys see those?
Yeah, they're awesome.
They look good, but it's Germany.
They kind of have like the Pittsburgh Penguins color combination with the red in there, but it's just like they're going to stink in them either way.
It looks like a Penguins minor league team.
It does.
It kind of does, yeah. It does.
Well, speaking of the Penguins, actually, I'm not sure if it is speaking of the Penguins. Let's jump into our weekly accolades. I'll start with you, Jack. Who is your player of this past week or so? We're on a loose timeline for weeks since it's been 2 weeks since we've had a show.
We're going to go with the greatest goal scorer of all time, Alex Ovechkin. The Caps themselves are on a hot streak, and Alex Ovechkin is at the forefront of that. 4 goals and 4 assists over this last week. Going back to last Wednesday, a +3 on the ice. The Caps have won 6 in a row. They are absolutely dominating right now. They are right back at the top of the Metropolitan Division.
Top of the East.
Yes, top of the East. And Alex Ovechkin is back on his pace from what he was last year. I said before this season that there was no way he was going to score close to 44 goals again. But now it looks like he might score even more than that this year. And the interesting thing with the Caps, in my opinion, is that they are a vibes-based team. If one player is playing well, the whole team's going to play well.
Yeah.
If one player stinks, the whole team stinks. They've been extremely hot and cold. Started pretty good, then had a bit of a rough stretch for 2 or 3 weeks. They're on a hot stretch now. We'll have to see if they're able to keep it up. But with how weak the East is this year, I think if the Caps just, even if they don't play as well as they're playing right now, I still think we'll see them in the playoffs come April.
The thing with the Capitals that's fun to me is that they have so much depth when it comes to second-tier players. Like, you look at a Carlson and a Strome and a Ryan Leonard. These kind of guys, like, they're not the guys that are carrying so much of the workload, but they have a lot of guys that are going to pick up on those good vibes, like you were saying, Jack, and, get those a point every 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, and we're really seeing Tom Wilson really produce for the Caps. Jacob Churchrin, John Carlson, Dylan Strome, just a great list of guys. And they're all going to work every day. They're all producing. And the results are there for the Capitals.
The interesting thing about the Capitals is that they are bottom half of the league in both power play and penalty killing, but they are by far the best even strength team in hockey. I mean, I'm looking at the stats right now. Tom Wilson plus or minus is 17. We have Alex Ovechkin at 10, Jacob Chichurin at 22, Dylan Strome 15, Alexei Protas 21. Like, these are unheard of for any other team in the league. And it is every single player that has these ridiculous plus-minus numbers. So they haven't really needed any special teams production to do what they're doing.
So with how wide open the East is, we've been talking about this for a while, do you believe that the Capitals can keep this up? They're a hot and cold team, but do you think they'll have enough hot streaks left in them to stay at the top of the Metro?
I'm going to say no. I think it's the Hurricanes. I think it's the Devils when Jack Hughes returns. I think the Islanders and the Rangers have a better chance of keeping afloat than the Capitals do.
I agree.
They can fight for a wild card spot, but they're not going to be first place in the Metro.
My only reason to disagree with that is the fact that Logan Thompson is still an elite goaltender. And I think that does so much. We love goalies on this show. Logan Thompson has done so much for the city of Washington, or the district of Washington, D.C., that I have faith in his ability to keep them afloat.
I think if Washington can improve on their power play, I think there's a chance they could be at the top of the East by the end of the season. If not, though, I think this streak will probably end. They're pretty hot and cold, pretty streaky. But if they can improve that power play, which is sitting at like bottom 6 in the league right now, they could absolutely keep this standing at the top of the Metro Division.
Seuss, who is your player of the week?
My player of the week is one of the dirtiest players in all of the National Hockey League recently, Mikko Rantanen. 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. The Stars are rolling. They're on a crazy point streak. About 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. They're absolutely killing it. And he's a main focal point because of it. The Stars are they're just a great hockey team. We've been talking about them all year long. Them and the Avalanche, both of those teams, I feel like, never lose.
I want to ask you some about the Stars because they've had some issues with injuries so far this year. With all that and even the recent issues, how important is Mikko Rantanen to this team?
Mikko Rantanen is so important because he keeps that line afloat. Him, Jason Robertson, Wyatt Johnson, that's such a key first line. It's one of the better first lines in all of hockey. And with all the injuries that they're facing, he's a constant. He's just always there, always producing, in my opinion.
Just looking at the Central right now, I don't know how to describe it, but the Avalanche and the Stars are so solidly in place in that division. It's going to be interesting to see how that final spot gets filled, but just comparing it to the rest of the West, the Avs and the Stars are so much better than everybody else.
Absolutely. Well, I don't think we should count out the Minnesota Wild. They're only 6 points behind Dallas now. They've had a crazy hot stretch.
I think that's significant. I think 6 points is a decent amount of distance at this point in the season.
Keep in mind, in the Metro, 7 points separates first place from last place in the division. The Atlantic gets only 9 points. So 6 points between second and third in the Central is absolutely a pretty significant boundary. But I agree. I think the Avalanche and the Stars are way ahead of not only the rest of this division, the rest of the league. I think these are without doubt the 2 best teams in the league. And it's really a shame that we'll never get to see this game in this matchup in the Stanley Cup Finals.
We might not even see it in the Western Conference Finals. It's going to be a second-round matchup right here.
That's a shame.
And these are, like you said, the 2 best teams in the entire National Hockey League. And they, you know what's funny? A lot of the West has a lot of loser points right now. Avalanche, 6 overtime losses. Stars 5, Wild 5, Golden Knights 8, Kings 7. That's a ridiculous amount of loser points.
Yep.
This is why we need to go to the 3-2-1 system.
I agree. My player of the week, staying on topic right here, is Jesper Wallstedt of the Minnesota Wild. This is a guy that we've had some high regards for in recent shows. He's had 7 wins in his past 7 games, including 4 shutouts. So those were his first 4 shutouts of the year. And he leads the league in not only shutouts, but goals against and save percentage. He is currently the best goaltender in the league. And earlier this year, I was saying that he would have been a hot commodity for a lot of teams that wanted a goaltender before the deadline. But he has been the guy that is propelling the Wild back into a playoff spot.
Yeah, we talked about it before the season started. It's a one-man show in Minnesota.
Yep.
But he is the reason Minnesota's fighting for a top 3 spot in the Central right now.
Well, and the crazy thing is, this is his first full season, too. He's played 5 games in 2 seasons before this.
Yes, this is why he's one of the best chances for the Calder right now. The Calder race is absolutely crazy.
It's crazy.
It's nuts. But he's the reason the Wild are going for a playoff spot, not Kirill Kaprizov.
Yeah, absolutely. And the great thing about this for the Wild is Philip Gustafsson has also played pretty well.
Yeah.
But obviously, Jesper Wallstedt, .944 save percentage. I don't know how you can not start him, but it's great for the Wild in the sense that now maybe you trade a Philip Gustafsson at the trade deadline, and with how good he's been this year, they could probably get a pretty decent return from. I know quite a few teams that are going to be looking for a goaltender at the trade deadline. I think we're going to see quite a few of them moved at the deadline. You talk about Edmonton, Toronto, all these teams that are looking for goaltenders, maybe even Montreal.
Sure.
There are a lot of really good teams out there who are lacking a good goaltender. And the fact that Minnesota has 2 great ones, it's going to play to their advantage.
Well, that's the crazy thing about the deadline when it comes to goaltenders is that so many teams are going to be shopping goalies who are good teams. Like the Wild have 2 excellent goaltenders. The Avalanche have 2 excellent goaltenders. Who else might?
Boston
has 2 great goaltenders. Like there's a lot of teams.
Too.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Exactly.
A lot of teams that are going to have to make a decision on who to put your chips down for, if at all, because I mean, it's not a bad thing to have 2 excellent goaltenders, but if you want to sell out and you want to, sell a Jeremy Swayman for whoever, that's a risk.
Yeah, I saw Jeremy Swayman play live over the Thanksgiving break against the Islanders. He was really good. Like he's a really good quality goaltender, so that gives you the leeway to trade Korpisalo.
I like what you said that you watched him and he was good.
He was good. He was really good.
The thing that impresses me the most about Jesper Wallstedt, like just looking at his past 5 games, I'm gonna go in approaching order. So starting on November 15th, 0 goals against Anaheim, 3 against Carolina, 0 against Winnipeg, 2 against Colorado, and 0 against Edmonton. Those are 5 excellent teams, and he gave 5 total goals.
That's just an incredible line right there.
Unbelievable.
Now we'll see if he can keep it up because again he's young and he has not played a whole lot of NHL hockey, which is why you keep a guy like Gustafsson around because you don't know if your rookie's going to be able to handle a full season.
Yes, and a veteran goaltender could be good.
Yeah.
Experience, knows what he's doing in the net. Just good for a young goaltender to have a veteran by his side.
I don't think any position in all of sports has more beginner's luck than NHL goaltenders do. I mean, you look at Jordan Binnington, his rookie year, winning a Stanley Cup. Matt Murray.
No, I'm gonna disagree. And it is the recent minor league call-up hitter in baseball. Because you get like the Aristides Aquino's that come up and nobody knows how to pitch to him, and he hits like 18 home runs in the month of August and then does nothing else because you figure out how to approach
It's the
him.
unheard of ones though, not the good ones. Because usually the ones who are hyped actually usually suck.
That is true.
It's usually the unheard of, but I do like that though, because I think you're absolutely right, especially with the Punisher.
Yes.
One of my favorite stories, really, since I started watching baseball.
Jeremy Hasselbaker is a name that I don't think either one of you know, but I love the name. Let's move into team of the week. Jack, I'll start with you because I know that you're going to stay on topic here from what you're talking about with Jesper Wallstedt.
Absolutely. No question, team of the week is the Minnesota Wild. I mean, this team is on a ridiculous stretch right now. Their point streak is, let me count here, 12 games. They have a 12-game point streak right now. They are right back in the race for the playoffs in the Western Conference and in the race for the division in the Central Division, which is a really good division. I mean, through the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, I thought the Wild were done for. I mean, we talked about it before the season. Were they going to be able to be a playoff team? It was Kirill Kaprizov and not really anybody else on this team. But with the rise of Jesper Wallstedt, with the rise of some of these other offensive players, the Wild have been able to maintain and even exceed what they did last year. And it's not just Kirill Kaprizov on the offensive side. You've got Matt Boldy averaging over a point per game. Marcus Johansson's really good, 20 points plus 9 on the ice. And it's really been all about their power play. Their power play is they are the 7th best power play in hockey. They were at the top for a while. They've dropped down a little bit, but that was what kept their offense afloat when they struggled early in the season, and it's continued to perform well during this hot streak. But the great thing about Minnesota is that they can rely on this power play, but they can also rely on their goaltending, because we talk about how good Jesper Wallstedt's been. Philip Gustafsson's also been really good, 906 save percentage. I think that the success of this Minnesota team, I don't know if you're going to ask me or not, but I think their success is absolutely sustainable. And I think at the trade deadline, they might trade Philip Gustafsson and they might try to get another good skater in return for him.
I want to talk about the Central Division as a whole right now, because the reason that the Minnesota Wild are in that 3rd place spot is because you know who's been totally absent from this year?
Who?
Totally mediocre. The Winnipeg Jets. There's been no reason to talk about the Jets so far this year, and that's what's disappointing. And the strange thing is that when you look on the papers and you look at the stats, Connor Hellebuyck's having a solid season. Kyle Connor's having a solid season. Mark Sheffley's having a solid season. There's not a whole lot of guys that are underperforming, but they aren't winning the games.
Their special teams are great, too.
Yeah, they are a good team statistically and on paper, but then when you look at the schedule, they just aren't winning games.
It's just the results are not coming together for them.
Yeah.
The team is really solid, but they just went on like a 4-game losing streak. They beat Nashville, then they lose to Buffalo, then they lose to Montreal. So it's just bad losses just keep happening.
Well, it's the way that they win and lose, because you'll have 4-3 loss against a good team in Carolina, and then a 5-2 win against a not great team in Columbus, and so or a 4-3 loss against the Capitals. Like every single game feels like a nail biter, unless they lose 4-1 or lose 5-1, which is also something that they do a lot. They either lose in an embarrassing fashion or they win barely.
And they started the season 9-3, so it's just recently, over the last month, they've been struggling to get some wins on the board. I think they're going to turn it around soon. This is not going to last in Winnipeg, and they're going to be head-to-head with the Wild for that last spot in the Central.
I mean, I'd be worried for them that, like, this month is not easy for them. Like, they get Buffalo tomorrow night, which should be easy if they're a good team. And then you get Edmonton, you get Dallas, you get Boston, you get DC, and then you have the Avalanche later. You have the Utah, you have Minnesota, you get Edmonton again. There's probably one guaranteed win circled on the rest of this month, and that's Buffalo.
I could see them beating Ottawa too.
I'm not saying that they can't beat them. I'm saying there's only one game where if you're a Jets fan, you think, okay, we get Buffalo tonight. That means a win.
I'm going to save my thoughts on Winnipeg until we get through Team of the Week.
Okay. Then let's move on then to Seuss's Team of the Week. Go ahead.
So my Team of the Week is a team we've been talking about a lot, the Washington Capitals. They have been rolling 6 straight victories behind the goaltending duo. Thompson's been ridiculous, as we said. He's in the Vezina race, and the scoring has been there for Washington from everybody. It's not just Ovechkin. It's Wilson. It's Jacob Chartrand, Carlson. Leonard's producing. We're seeing Anthony Beauvillier get some points. This team has been on an absolute heater, and it's the worst time to play them if you're any other team in the Metro.
Yeah. I'm okay if we don't talk more about the Capitals because we've already done that a lot today.
We've talked a lot about Washington.
My Team of the Week is the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have been 6-1 since our last show, 7-1 in their past 8 games. That includes 7 consecutive wins. They just had a loss the other night. Nikita Kucherov, the other night, in that 2-1 loss, or 2-0 loss against, was it 2-1 or 2-0? Give me 1 second. Lightning.
2-1.
2-1. Okay. 2-1 loss against you should know this. You watched the game.
I did watch that game.
2-1 loss against the Islanders was his first game since November 12th where he didn't register a point. Kucherov has been excellent for this Tampa Bay team. Vasilevsky is also becoming the Vasilevsky of old. Jack, I want to ask you specifically about the Lightning because you've been kind of our resident Lightning fan this year. They were your Week 1 pick to be the Stanley Cup champions. How are you feeling about Tampa?
I'm feeling pretty good, especially because their power play has still not gotten going yet, and they are playing this well. I think if their power play starts to get better as the season goes on, I think they're going to be extremely aggressive at the trade deadline. I think we're going to see them add on the back end. I mean, they've got some injured defensemen. Victor Hedman's down right now. Quinn Hughes. I'm starting to get on the Quinn Hughes to Tampa Bay train. I can absolutely see that. Get him in a winning environment. I think that could be massive for this Tampa Bay team. But it's all about Kucherov and Jake Gensel, and it's all about Vasilevsky. If those guys continue to perform, this Tampa Bay team's absolutely going to be in the playoff race. They're going to be in the Stanley Cup race. And with kind of how disappointing the Atlantic Division has been this year, I think the Lightning have to be considered the favorites right now to win this division.
Yeah, I think they are. I think that Montreal, I still have high expectations for, and I
do too.
I think that Montreal might still win this division. Ottawa's been kind of the team that I expected to be surprisingly good. Detroit's been surprising. Boston doesn't know who they are, and Toronto can't,
find their way.
Yeah, they can't.
I want to say Detroit doesn't know who they are either, though.
Yeah, but Detroit we didn't have very high expectations for, and I feel like they're surpassing what I thought they would do.
I still think that Boston has surpassed my expectations to this point.
Oh yeah,
I don't think they're that good though. It's funny they don't actually have an overtime loss yet, which is really funny.
Weird.
They're 20. Are they I think they're the only team.
Probably.
Yeah, they're the only team in the NHL that does not have an overtime loss through 28 games.
The key point about the Lightning, they're winning games, but Braden Point is not producing like he should be.
Yeah,
he's a key player on this Lightning team, and he has 11 points in 21 games, which he is a key producer.
He might not be playing fully healthy. He's missed a couple of games with injury, so maybe that's why. But yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. The fact that they're winning these games and they still have several aspects of their team that are not playing up to their usual standards, I think that makes this team absolutely terrifying once playoff time comes.
The thing that's great about Tampa Bay right now is that they have given them the third least amount of goals in the league, which is how you win games. The only teams that are better than them, you're not going to guess it. Colorado, you know who their team is? Seattle, which I wasn't expecting. But Tampa Bay stops their opponents from scoring, which is how they win hockey games and why they're 16-8-2 right now.
You know what? We're not going to talk about Seattle a lot on here, but you don't want to know why that's really impressive. They have the second worst penalty killing in the entire league.
Yeah.
So that's a testament to how good their goaltenders have been.
They're not giving up any goals on full strength.
They're not exactly. Their goaltenders have been unbelievably good. And back to Tampa Bay, it does make sense why. They have the best penalty killing in hockey by a pretty wide margin, too. They're killing almost 90% of penalties. This team is so dangerous. They really are. And I shouldn't be that high on or that really optimistic for them because I'm a Rangers fan and they've knocked the Rangers out of the playoffs quite a few times. But I just love the way this team plays. I don't think they're going anywhere. I still think they're as dangerous as they were early on in this decade when they won 2 Stanley Cups back-to-back.
They're also the only team in the Atlantic with a positive goal differential right now, which is noteworthy. All right, let's move into not team of the week. Jack, you have the floor.
Yeah, so I said I was going to say my thoughts for the Winnipeg Jets because, my goodness, it does not make sense why this team has played so bad. I mean, you have a top 10 power play, a top 10 penalty kill, probably the best goaltender in the league, and you're still not performing. The main reason for that is, outside of Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor, there is no production on this offense. Now, obviously, Adam Lowry and Cole Perfetti just came back from injury, but Cole Perfetti, 4 points in 12 games. Adam Lowry, 3 points in 12 games. Those were your 2 heroes in Game 7 last year against the Blues, and they're not performing this year. Jonathan Toews has turned out to be the biggest waste of a signing of all time. I mean, the guy has 3 goals and 6 points and three goals, 6 assists, a minus 12 on the ice. I mean, it's sad to say that he's such a shell of his former self because we're talking about a 3-time Stanley Cup champion, a former Conn Smythe winner, but the Jets, just outside of these Scheifele and Connor, are not getting any offensive production. And I think they're really starting to miss Nikolai Ehlers, who went to Carolina in free agency. There's just not enough offensive sustainability here in Winnipeg. And if they don't fix that soon, they might not be a playoff team. And that's unacceptable considering they won the President's Trophy last year. Other than Nikolai Ehlers, they didn't really lose anybody. I thought maybe Jonathan Toews would do a bit more in a winning environment, but clearly he hasn't. And Winnipeg is sitting here towards the bottom of this division, and they need to turn it around quickly. Otherwise, they're going to fall out of the playoff race pretty shortly.
The one thing that is redeeming for Winnipeg, and first I want to take back my words that I said about Buffalo being an easy win because they lost 5-1 to Buffalo earlier this week. But the Winnipeg Jets still have a very legitimate chance of being a playoff team because I believe, and I think you guys would agree, that both wildcard teams out of the West are going to come out of the Central Division. I'm not sold on who it's going to be, but there's nobody in the Pacific that I think will be a wildcard team.
You don't have faith in the young San Jose Sharks sneaking in there?
Not this year.
No,
I agree.
The only exception might be Edmonton. Well, no, I think Edmonton's going to be that third team if the Kings can stay hot.
They're so up and down. The other thing, too, about Winnipeg, we haven't talked about this. Connor Hellebuyck's out right now. He had knee surgery. Yeah. He's going to be out for the next month or so.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
That's probably why they haven't been winning is their backup goaltender. But I also just don't think there's enough offense here.
And that's a massive alarm for the Jets right now because if you're missing arguably your most important piece for a month, and we already talked about what their schedule's looking like for the month of November, you might not win a game. Like,
it's terrifying.
You have Eric Comrie starting for a month?
Yeah.
God, they're going to be down there for a little bit. If you get Connor Hellebuyck back by the new year, I think they will be in that playoff race.
You just got to be worried about who's going to separate themselves from the rest of the wild card race because will Minnesota get on a hot streak? Will Utah get back to the team they were a few weeks ago? Will Chicago get back to the team they were a few weeks ago? Can the Blues figure something out? There's a lot of teams in the Central that have the potential to go on a run and bury Winnipeg while they're too busy getting healthy.
Exactly. I feel like Edmonton could even bury them to an extent.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of teams in this Western Conference that are jam-packed. From the top wild card to Utah to the Blues.
Yep.
It's anyone's game.
You have the top two teams in the West from the same division, and you have Colorado and Dallas. And then after that, it is so close. And then you have Nashville and Vancouver and the Flames.
Exactly.
But besides that, there are, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 teams in the West that are so close to each other in terms of talent.
And then you just have the top tiers.
Yeah.
And then the bottom tiers. The West is so weird compared to the East because the East is just so dynamic.
Right.
Where every team is in the wild card run.
Well, the difference with the East and West for me is that the East is full of good young teams that are surprisingly good. The West is full of veteran teams that are surprisingly bad.
Exactly.
And that's why both conferences are so close. It's because the West is underperforming and the East is overperforming. I want to stay in the Western Conference for my not team of the week, and that's the Chicago Blackhawks, who at one point were a team of the week not too long ago. They're 1-6 in their past 7 games. At the moment, they stand a point outside the playoff picture, but just very recently, like I said, they were in that playoff picture as a wild card team. Bedard is really carrying that entire offensive load, which is why they're struggling. And a guy who was so important earlier this year, Spencer Knight, has given up 3 goals or more in 4 of his last 5 games, which is not what you want to see out of a guy that just a few weeks ago you were talking about extending and making your franchise goalie.
Yeah, a few weeks ago I was saying that was the biggest mistake in Florida Panthers history.
Yeah.
And now he's back to the Spencer Knight that was with the Panthers. The problem I'm seeing with the Blackhawks is Bedard's producing. Where is everybody else?
Tyler Bertuzzi is your second most productive player.
It's terrible.
And he's missed 3 games.
Yeah.
Frank Nazar is still kind of producing somewhat, just not seeing the goal totals.
The thing that sucks about the Blackhawks right now, and this is a very base level analysis, but there's just no names. Like you have Connor Bedard and a bunch of guys that if you don't intensely watch hockey, you don't even know who these guys are, and that's an issue.
Yeah, you're not knowing who Ryan Green is if you don't watch hockey.
We live with a Ryan Green. Shout out Ryan.
We do. Yeah, well, I actually don't think this is really on Spencer Knight. I mean, the guy still has a .917 save percentage.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, you just have to score more goals. I mean, other than Connor Bedard, there's literally nobody else. Where is Frank Nazar been? This is supposed to be your other young superstar that is supposed to be helping carry this team. And 18 points in 24 games isn't necessarily bad, but it's also not good enough when you don't have anybody else producing. I mean, a lot of the veterans on this team are just getting old and they're just not producing anymore. Guys like Ryan Donato, Teuvo Teravainen, Tyler Bertuzzi's actually been pretty good.
Yeah.
But some of these other veterans have just not been able to produce. I still think they should trade some of these veterans at the deadline, try to get a little bit younger, because I do think in a couple of years they're going to be really, really good. But I think other than Connor Bedard and Spencer Knight, there's just not enough on this team that's going to carry them to the playoffs, ending this playoff drought.
Yeah, I agree. I think there was a time where I thought this Blackhawks team is great. I think I opened a show a few weeks ago saying that Bedsy and the boys has Chicago rocking or something like that. But this team just isn't built for the playoffs this season. And they're in a similar spot that the Sharks are, where I think they have their guy, they have that young piece, and they're gonna keep building around him. And in a year or 2, maybe 3, they're gonna be a elite team. It's just not this year.
If you're a Blackhawks fan, you've seen the team go through the happiest of highs and the lowest of lows. And right now, you're just happy to see them competing again.
Yeah.
They're a point out of a playoff spot right now, and you're just like happy to see them there.
Well, and that's what makes the West so fun this year is that, like we've been saying, is that a team like Chicago could have a terrible stretch, and they're still almost a playoff team.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Blackhawks, they're doing everything well. I mean, they kill penalties well. They score on the power play. They have a young superstar on the offense. They have their future goaltender. If you're a Blackhawks fan, you have to be very excited about the future. Might not be this year, but in a couple of years, once you fill out the rest of your roster, you're going to be a dangerous team in the West, just like you were a decade ago.
So my not team of the week, let's go over to the Eastern Conference a little bit. We're going to go over to a team that's missing their superstar, the New Jersey Devils. They have lost 3 of their last 4. to pretty bad teams, in my opinion. Philly, Columbus, and then a shutout to the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just a lack of Jack Hughes here? This team has just been absolutely atrocious. I don't think they're getting the goal scoring from Brad and Hoosier over the last couple games. And then the goaltending. The goaltending in New Jersey, besides Jake Allen, had a really good start to this year, but he's cooled down a little bit. Markstrom's back, but he's not been the same. So I don't know what the Devils need right now because they're free falling, and like we said, everyone in the East is heating up.
Yep.
You have teams like the Islanders, you have teams like Columbus, you have teams like the Penguins, the Rangers. Everyone is trying to catch the Devils in that top wildcard spot. I don't think they keep it if Jack Hughes doesn't come back in time.
I truly think that the Devils are just on a cold streak right now, and they're gonna shake some dust off in a week or so, and they'll be back to the team that we saw recently. But the thing that's alarming to me is just looking down this roster, there isn't that guy who is so consistent throughout the year. There's not a Rantanen or a Bedard that is carrying that workload, and there's just so many guys that are having above average, solid seasons, but when they run out of gas, there's nobody picking up that slack.
I agree with you in the sense that I don't think the Devils are going to keep this up the rest of the season. But I think if Jack Hughes is out for an extended period of time, or if he gets hurt again when he comes back, this team's in major trouble.
Yeah.
They just can't win with Jack Hughes when Jack Hughes is not out there. And I said before the season that I thought the biggest weakness of this team was the fact they don't have. I think they need one more big producer in that top six, because if Jack Hughes goes down,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Jesper Bratt and Nico Hischier are good, but they're not good enough to carry this offense when Jack Hughes is down.
Yep.
So I think the Devils are going to be another team that I'd expect to be very proactive at the trade deadline. But more so, you just need Jack Hughes to come back, because when Jack Hughes comes back, I think they're the best team in this division by far.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I think that Hughes is so important that when he is absent, the guy, like you're saying, like Jesper Bratt, is not the second guy that you want for a team that's trying to win a Stanley Cup. When, Dawson Mercer is your best plus minus guy, that's an issue for this team because there's no true depth.
Yeah, and that's just the major problem here. They need another guy.
Yeah.
So at the deadline, I don't know who I could see them getting, but they need a secondary guy when Hughes goes down, because it seems to be happening every single season now. He goes down, and the Devils just fall.
Or do they trade Hughes and rebuild?
I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
Not a chance.
Not at all. I think the Devils are going to be fine. Once Jack Hughes comes back, I think they'll be just fine. But I think it's the sense that Jack Hughes is just so good that he makes everyone on the ice look better.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the effect has been on Jesper Bratt and Nico Hischier. But when Jack Hughes is out and they're forced to carry the load of this offense, they just aren't able to do that. But when Jack Hughes comes back, Jesper Bratt and Nico Hischier's numbers are going to go way up. So it's really just the Jack Hughes effect for this Devils team.
Well, and that's the thing about this Devils team is that they play so much team hockey. Jesper Bratt is the top point scorer right now for the Devils. He has 5 goals and 21 assists. His job is to feed the other guys. Nico Hischier has 10 goals, 15 assists. Timo Meier has 10 goals, 12 assists. Dawson Mercer has 10 goals, 11 assists. Nobody has more goals than assists on this team. Outside, I'm going to scroll all the way down. Cody Glass has 4 goals, no assists. There's nobody of significance on this roster that is that is scoring more than they're assisting, and that is not a great recipe when you're missing the guy who's supposed to be scoring.
Exactly. I feel like they're such a pass-first team.
Yeah. And they play good team hockey, but when you're missing that centerpiece that scores the goal,
the catalyst.
Yes.
The Rangers have exactly the same problem. Yeah. And that's fully healthy. So that's why the Devils are better, because the Rangers don't have a Jack Hughes, but the Rangers are pass first. I mean, that was the advantage I had to Kreider every single year, but now that Kreider's gone, they haven't been as good.
He has nowhere to pass to.
Yeah. Chris Kreider's been great in Anaheim, by the way.
Yeah.
I should say that. It's been all the young guys and Chris Kreider, really, for them.
How about the Ducks? They're still top of the Pacific.
They're still quacking.
They haven't been as good, but they're still up there.
Yeah, but every week we say, when are the Ducks going to fall off? And they never do. And they're playing in a division with the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, they have a point lead right now, which is too close for comfort. But at the moment, the Ducks are still the better team than the Vegas Golden Knights. And they only have 1 overtime loss, which is absurd.
Yeah, they did just lose 7-0 to Utah.
They did. But I think Utah's still a good team.
Utah's still a little good wild card team. But the Ducks, I like what I'm seeing from them. The guys are still producing. Cutter Gauthier is still going out there. And I'm happy to see the Ducks finally be in that playoff race where they belong.
There's been a surplus of blowouts in general in hockey in the past week. You're talking about that 7-0 game with Utah and Anaheim. But, I mean, you even Who was it last night?
Caps over the Sharks.
Yeah, Caps over Sharks 7-1.
Leonard had that sick goal.
Yeah. Last week there was a decent amount. Yeah, a 6-0 Colorado over the Sharks.
Poor San Jose.
Yeah.
Let's see. Buffalo beat the Jets.
I don't have much analysis to say on that. It's just interesting.
It's just interesting the amount of blowouts we're seeing at this point.
It's the beauty of
NHL
hockey.
season.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, Colorado's won regulation losses to Boston. That's really random, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, it's better than a 5-1 loss to Buffalo.
It is.
Let's move into our final not team of the week. And that would be... you did that. You did the Devils.
Yep, I already did the Devils.
Yeah, so we've moved past everybody.
We moved on.
Yeah. Well, what else do you want to talk about, Seuss?
Let's go into something that I am really excited for. We already talked about Olympic jerseys.
I was going to say, you should talk about Team Canada.
Now we're going to talk about the rosters. So, my favorite roster to look at...
You didn't happen to watch the last episode when you were missing, did you? Did you watch that one?
I did not.
Should have done your homework.
Should have done my homework. But I'm going to tell you why Matthew Schaefer should make Team Canada. I am Noah Seuss, my 3 reasons. So, if you look at Canada's decor, I think he is better than Travis Sanheim right now. I'm taking Matthew Schaefer, young Matthew Schaefer. He should make it over Drew Doughty, and you're not going to like this, Noah, over Colton Parayko. I think it should be Matthew Schaefer's show, and I'm also going to say Bedard and Macklin Celebrini should be on Team Canada.
I agree that Celebrini and Bedard should make it. Schaefer, I'm not sold on. I think part of it is just also that the Olympics has a certain prestige to it where teams aren't always putting together their best roster, but it's an award. Like, you are celebrating the gifts of somebody by putting them on the Olympic roster, which is why you're going to have, a Sidney Crosby every single year, even if he's not having his best season. Yeah, I don't think Matthew Schaefer makes Team Canada.
It's going to be tight here. The Islanders just played the Lightning, like you said, and John Cooper said he was looking out for Schaefer. He's watched Schaefer already a couple years ago, I think in the World Juniors, he said, but it's going to be close with what John Cooper does with this team.
I'm looking at Team Canada's roster, and I just realized I completely forgot about Sam Reinhart.
Yeah.
I think the reason is Sam Reinhart's exactly the same as Jesper Bratt, where he is so reliant on his line mate, Alexander Barkov, that when he doesn't play, his numbers are not nearly as good. And we've seen that this year with Sam Reinhart. He hasn't been nearly the player he has been in previous years. And that's the Panthers, the back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, are in last place in the East, right? The whole conference?
Yep.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy what's going on. The East is so wide open. I mean, they're in last place, but they're still only 6 points out of second place in their division.
And there's also another Islander that should be on Team Canada.
Who's that?
Bo Horvat.
Okay.
He has been producing like crazy. 16 goals, 7th in the whole National Hockey League. He has 27 points this year, a career year for Bo Horvat, which I think is the reason the Islanders are staying afloat in this playoff race right now. I don't think they're going to make it.
I have a question that I should know the answer to. What is the send-off event that's going on instead of the All-Star break? It's a precursor to the Olympics, but are they playing hockey or is it just like honoring the guys that are going?
I feel like it's just honoring the guys that are going.
Okay.
I feel like it's like a barbecue. The Islanders have this like little park area outside the arena. It's weird. But next year, 2027 All-Star game at UBS.
See, that's what I was looking forward to, was like doing an All-Star ballot show on the show, but then
they just took it away from us.
We're not going to have an All-Star again this year, so.
The Islander fans don't deserve it because there's none of us.
Yeah.
People don't show up to UBS enough.
I think Matt Rempe should be on Team Canada. Just as the enforcer, just as he designated enforcer for Team Canada.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, when you're filled with so much talent, might as well have an extra guy,
Yeah, just the enforcer. Just remember the 3 fights in 9 seconds last year in the Four Nations? That was awesome.
Let's talk about what we're looking forward to for the next week. Jack, you can go first.
Okay, well, I'm going to be a bit biased here. I'm going to go with the Rangers actually play tonight, but I'm going to go with on Saturday when the Rangers play the Colorado Avalanche. Because when the Rangers played the Avalanche earlier this year, and they played them pretty close. They only lost by 1. So I am pretty optimistic that maybe at Madison Square Garden, the Rangers have started to improve, and they just beat the Stars there at MSG without Adam Fox. So maybe they could give Colorado their second regulation loss of the season. I'm excited to see that this offense is getting better each and every day. Power play is improving. Igor, as we all know. I'm excited to see that. I don't think the Rangers are going to win, but I'm just excited to see the way they look against the best team in hockey.
What I'm looking forward to here is we have a first place versus first place matchup tomorrow night. Capitals Ducks. You have the Capitals that are absolutely rolling versus a Ducks team that's not slowing down at all at the Honda Center. I don't know who's gonna win this one, but the Capitals are not slowing down, so I'm gonna take the Caps.
Who do you think that game is more important for the rest of the season between the Ducks and the Caps? Because you have a Caps team that is very hot right now, and they've climbed back up into a first place spot versus the Ducks, who were very far and away in their first place spot, but are starting to decline.
I think it's important for the Ducks to get this win because you can send a message to the league that we're not going down. They lost 7-0 to Utah on Wednesday, like we said. This is a big response for the Ducks, so I'm going to say the Ducks.
Okay.
I agree. I think it's important to get a win at home. And again, the Caps are on a 6-game losing streak. Those aren't going to last forever. So if you drop one here, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I agree. All right, my game I'm looking forward to is Tampa at Montreal. These are two teams that are excellent right now. They are hot. I'm just excited. Like, it's one of those where it's not necessarily an overly high stakes game because I think both these teams are going to be very comfortable, very fine when it comes to actual playoff season. But two division opponents going at it on Tuesday night, so I'm excited.
Two division opponents that once faced off in a Stanley Cup final not that long ago.
That is very true. That was so weird.
Montreal won the Western Conference Trophy.
I remember being in a hotel in Chicago watching Game 4.
Yeah, that's right.
Weird memory.
I was watching with my grandmother, which is pretty funny because she did not watch hockey.
Yeah.
So I remember about that game.
Seuss, where were you for Game 4 of the 2021 Cup Finals?
I was probably watching it upset because I thought the Islanders should have been in.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That was the year they lost in Game 7. Ugh.
I remember. I don't know why. I remember that conference finals. I took a shower while that clincher game was on, and I missed the end of it.
It was the Islanders just couldn't get anything going. It was a great series, but that was the end of the team.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts, guys?
Let me see. I already talked about the Islanders a lot, so I'm gonna stay away from them. Do I have anything? No, I got nothing.
The Blues are only a couple games out of a playoff spot right now, so don't let them. I mean, they're not second to worst in the West right now, which is great.
Toronto's actually winning for once.
Toronto is having a good time.
They beat the Penguins 7-2.
They're still still a third worst team in the East. But
Still awful standings wise, but
I still think the Blue Jackets make the playoffs.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. Well, I mean, look at it. They're only
over Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's dropping.
Okay.
Pittsburgh's dropping. They're dropping quickly, and Columbus has a couple of games on some of these teams who have played more. They're only 7. They're 5 points out of second place.
Okay.
Right now.
So
the Flyers aren't going to stay at the top.
So Philly doesn't make it.
No.
Okay.
No, they do not. I think they'll be 4th. I think they'll be one of the wild cards.
Okay. Okay. I don't mind that, but I disagree still.
No, that's completely fair, but I still think they're going to make it.
I think Pittsburgh's still solid. I agree Philly's going to fall off. I don't think the Capitals are that good.
I don't think the Capitals are that good either.
Yeah, so that's why I think the Blue Jackets are going to.
But I will give them okay. I was going to say I'll give them the credit as being the current last place team that I think has the best chance of being a playoff team. But you still have Florida, who's in last place in the Atlantic.
Yeah, I think Florida's looked worse than Columbus has, though.
And I'd rather take Columbus as a playoff team than Florida right now.
And Columbus's record's also better. I mean, Florida, I think. No, they've played one less game, but Columbus, they've just gotten unlucky. I mean, 5 overtime losses. If some of those are wins, they're right at the top of the division.
But the good thing is for Florida, you're in last place. You're 6 points out of a playoff spot right now, but you don't have anybody.
Right.
You don't have.
You're still waiting for
Kachuk
for
and
health.
Barkov.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I wonder if Barkov's going to come back this year. It's going to be a really interesting topic when we get closer to playoff time.
I mean, might be a late playoff addition, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Definitely.
All right, well, that'll do it for this week's edition of the Dump and Chase podcast presented by the Hoosier Network. I have been Noah Bedoris with Jack Rizzo and Noah Seuss. We'll see you next week.